In Alaska, Dr. Price was able to go into the hinterland and study the people who were still eating their native foods. Here he found virtually no cavities and beautiful wide faces and naturally straight teeth. The woman on the left, he describes her teeth as literally 2 rows of pearls. Very sturdy and strong, no tuberculosis. He talked to a doctor who had been there for 30 years among the Eskimos, and he said he had never seen a case of heart disease, cancer, or any condition requiring an operation among those natives who were eating their traditional foods. Also, the women gave birth very easily without any pain. Typically, a woman gave birth at night while her husband was asleep, and when he woke up in the morning, she introduced him to the new baby. The children were sturdy and strong. Look at these children, very curious, right? But the interesting thing is that he never, in these cultures, heard a baby cry. And they weren't crying because they were well-nourished. A well-nourished baby doesn't cry. And a baby that's crying all the time is telling you something, that he's hungry. His belly may be full of food, but he's not getting what he needs. Many of the Eskimos had missing teeth and worn down teeth because they chewed on leather to make their clothes, but even these worn down teeth were not decayed. Worn down right to the dentin, but no decay. And this was a stark contrast to what he found in the towns, the trading posts where the white man's food was coming in, the displacing food of modern commerce. The foods got there a long time before the dentists got there. And even today, a lot of these little towns have no dentists. And the tooth decay was a very serious problem because of the pain. And they became prone to suicide. And the only reason given for suicide was the pain of tooth decay. They became prone to tuberculosis, and then in just one generation, the faces became more narrow. There were dental deformities, overbites, underbites, and that's a nutritional problem. You are not providing the body with the nutrients it needs to build according to the blueprint. And the blueprint of every person on this planet, we're all children of God, we all have the same blueprint, and that is to have a wide, attractive face and naturally straight teeth. That is the blueprint. A major component of the Alaskan diet was seal oil, which they're carrying in this leather bag here. The seal oil was used as a major source of calories, used for cooking, used for dipping. They had this Eskimo ice cream, which was made by whipping the seal oil until it became frothy, and then they would add a few berries. And that was the Eskimo ice cream. Today they make the Eskimo ice cream out of whipping Crisco. Yeah. Naturally, they ate a lot of fish, and the fish were either cooked, sometimes they were eaten frozen. If they were out hunting, they would eat frozen fish. And the fish were also fermented. They were thrown into a hole and allowed to get kind of rotten, and the consistency of ice cream, and that was considered a real delicacy, the fermented fish. The Eskimos were very observant, and they noticed that their dogs, if the dogs got fresh fish, they could not pull their sleds all day long. But if they got fermented fish, they had more stamina, and they could pull the sleds all day long. So we will be talking about fermented foods and how they provide a lot more stamina and strength for us, and why. These are salmon eggs drying in the sun, fish eggs. And when Dr. Price asked them why they went to such trouble to preserve these salmon eggs, they said, we need these fish eggs so we can have healthy babies. And the fish egg is an extremely nourishing food, and this is something that we definitely encourage. I know when my daughter was pregnant, my gift was I sent her caviar every now and then. So very important food, nutrient-dense food, especially for pregnancy and for healthy babies.